The guy, 36M, I, 27F, have been dating invited me to a cookout and everything went to SHT. About 4 months ago I started dating this guy, Jack. I am new to the city and don't really know anyone. He works a lot so we haven't been able to see each other a ton. But always have a good time and had been hooking up a bit. He invited me over to his place last weekend for a cookout to celebrate his birthday and said there would be a lot of people there for me to meet. I was really excited as I am really into him and was hoping meeting friends, family was a good sign that the relationship was progressing. I got there a little early and helped him set some things up, and as guests started to arrive he would introduce me and say I was his friend, Mary. About an hour after guests had started arriving I was sitting in the back with his sister, mom and some other friends while he was grilling. Suddenly this woman walks out of the house and looks at us. Puts her finger up to her mouth doing the shish thing. Walks up behind his and yells, "Hey, happy birthday MFER." Quote. He turns around and yells, "Holy SHT," and hugs her and lifts her up and was obviously extremely happy to see her. Everyone laughs and starts saying how sweet it was. Apparently this is his best friend, who moved away for work a few years ago and she flew in that morning to surprise him for his birthday. After that basically the whole night became about her. His friends and sisters were laughing about how cute it is that the two of them have loved each other so much for so long, and how happy he always is when she is around, and how much he has missed her since she left. And then asking each other, why haven't they got married at this point, and everyone kind of laughing and saying, right? Quote, she came over and hugged everyone and his mom introduced her to me, saying, "This is Mary. She is a new friend of Jack's from work. She is new to the area." Quote, she does the whole nice to meet you and ask me a few questions about myself. Later on in the night she mentioned that she had a surprise for Jack for his birthday. She gave him a card and in it is a gift card that is apparently to their favorite restaurant. Then she tells him they can use it in November to celebrate her moving back next month, and says she is going to look at some houses while she is there. Of course everyone was just thrilled she was moving back, especially him. And he immediately says, "The housing market is a mess right now. It'll probably hard to find something. You can stay with me so you don't have to rush into anything." She just kind of laughed and said, "We'll talk." Quote, after that almost all of his attention was on catching up with her and talking about all the things they are going to do together. His mom at one point mentioned how good she has always been for him, and how she really hopes he doesn't screw it up this time. She also mentioned that it would save them some money because, and I quote, "I swear one of them is always visiting the other. He sees that woman more than he sees me and I am 20 minutes away." Quote, at this point I realized he was too busy to date me seriously, because he was constantly visiting her in another state. So obviously his family 10,000% did not know he and I had been dating. I feel like a moron. And I know we hadn't talked about making things official, but we were sleeping together so I didn't expect to literally end up hard friends zoned out of the blue in front of his family when I thought he was bringing me to introduce me to them. I ended up just leaving and not saying anything. He texted me 2 times asking what was going on, and I told him to enjoy his party and his friend and he didn't respond after that. I brought it up later and he basically told me that he hadn't invited me to introduce me to his family and friends like that, and that he was just trying to help me meet new people. He also said this is his best friend of almost 20 years and of course he was excited, but told me they had no history, even though friends, family try to push them into being together. But then also added that my behavior was really immature and that maybe we were not on the same page with things. I feel so awful right now. I may have misread some signs. But it's like she showed up and he had no qualms dumping me. I asked if we could meet up and talk, and he said he was busy this week and needed some time to think about if he wants to continue with our situation. And apparently by busy he means she is still in town and is staying with him. The second he introduced you as his friend, it should have been a clear indication where his mind was at regarding where you stand in his life. Sounds like it's time to move on. Not everyone takes physical relationships as seriously. If a person were serious about wanting you in their lives, they would have brought up the "what are we" conversation earlier. Do you believe in signs? You would have been keeping on growing feelings for him if you didn't have this situation, so take it, grow and run from this. Don't bother meeting to talk. Waste of your time. That sounds really disillusioning and I'm sorry it happened to you. Are you sure you dated him, or it was just FWB? He works a lot, so we haven't been able to see each other a ton. But always have a good time and had been hooking up a bit. This doesn't sound like a dating. Always clearly state what you want in a relationship of any kind. That being said, trust how you feel. My mama always say go where you're appreciated. Literally had this friend that was in this unclear situationship for 3 years. Dude just stringing her along. He literally ghosted her and got married 1 month later. Don't let someone waste your time with uncertainty. There are people out there that will love you. Out loud. You were reading the room right. He confirmed it when he said he hadn't invited you to meet his friends and family. Just invited you so you could make new friends. If he sees his BFF all the time, then it shouldn't have been a big deal she was there. So yes, you got hardcore friend zone. You are not a situation. Oh, please just friend zone him in exchange. Consider it a nice interlude that luckily you did not have a lot of time invested in. BTW. He's trying to backpedal and make you feel guilty because he knows he was trying to have his cake and eat it too. Just smile, bless his heart, and move on. Just don't contact her. It kind of makes you look a little cray-cray. Just walk away and be happy you did not have a lot of time invested in him. Listen, I'm a woman whose best friend is a man and we love each other very much. But we still know how not to be impolite to our guests. He invited you there, ignored you, and on top of that made it clear that you weren't dating material by introducing you as a friend. Cut him off, and consider it a bullet dodged. This guy will never put you first. So essentially, you're each other's FWB, but you didn't know that and he never explicitly stated it? You did nothing wrong. He's a dick. He's in love with this girl and you're just a placeholder. I would just block and delete him. You didn't act immaturely. For a 36-year-old. He really has no clue, eh? I guess he just wanted a friends with benefits with you. So obviously his family 10,000% did not know he and I had been dating. I feel like a moron. And I know we hadn't talked about making things official. But we were sleeping together, so I didn't expect to literally end up hard friends zoned out of the blue in front of his family when I thought he was bringing me to introduce me to them. Curious question. When you guys met and expressed an interest in each other, what kind of conversations regarding dating were you two having? Did he say he was interested in dating seriously? Or was he kind of vague? Did you guys start as a casual hookup that graduated into dating? Or at least what felt like to you was dating? Were both of you clear with your intentions for this relationship? It's hard to accurately measure this situation without some clearer information. Yeah, it'd be easy to quickly judge him as stringing you LOMG based on your side interpretation of the events. But you do admit that you could have missed some signs and that you hadn't discussed being exclusive yet. So there's always the chance that you did misread the situation. but I don't feel comfortable making a judgment without adequate information. I've heard this whole, oh she is just a friend, and 9 times out of 10 it isn't true. Trust your gut and leave. You've only been seeing him a little while, so it's not like you'll be throwing out a long-term relationship. If you stay in this, then your heart will be broken. Girl, you were just a regular booty call. He misrepresented the relationship to you, and now that she's back, he's trying to gaslight you and rewrite history. He knew what he was doing. He's a major boss. He does not care about you at all. I don't think this is anyone you should waste any more time on. Meet up for what? Get some self-respect and find someone else. You seem to be blaming a lot of this situation on his friend. She has nothing to do with the way he treats you. So I'd put all your hang-ups about her out of your mind. You're definitely more into this guy than he is into you. It sucks, but it happens. I once got invited out to a carnival by a guy the first really liked and had made out with a few times. I thought it was going to be our first date, only for him to introduce me to his new girlfriend when we got there. I was blindsided and seriously hurt. But he wasn't the one for me. Jack is not the one for you. Maybe this will make you feel a little better. Though, 1. The guy the first liked turned out to be a huge homophobe later on. I was glad I dodged that bullet. You may have actually dodged one. 2. You just haven't realized it yet. 2. About 5 months after my heart got broken, I ended up meeting the love of my life. He's 100% better matched for me. We're like 2 halves of the same person. We have been together for 12 years and still going strong. You'll find your other half. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. She's more than a best friend. He's in love with her. They may have no history, but he would drop you in a second if she wanted to get with him. He was just using you while she wasn't around. You don't deserve that. You definitely shouldn't be with him anymore. I wouldn't. I'd feel extremely hurt. And ladies out there, if you are looking for a relationship, make it known from the first date. If you want someone to date you exclusively, don't have sex with guys who are not willing to do it exclusively with you. This will save you some heartache, so you don't get into situations like this where feelings are starting to develop and the guy is using you as temporary entertainment. Let this one go, or just remain platonic friends since you are lonely. No free booty. He's obviously trying to figure out if she wants a relationship with him before determining if he should continue with your situation. Looky hardcore showed you he isn't ready to commit. A man who is taking you seriously for dating would never do something like this or mislead you into thinking your relationship is more serious than it is.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.